All right, it says I'm live. I'm going by their words. Perhaps I'm probably live. We'll find out. Tell me if I'm live or if I'm just sitting here, talking to myself. Zero people and still zero people. Zero people, man. Wow. Don't even know why I bother. Okay, well, nobody's here. That's different. Zero people. 14 people suddenly arrived. Right on. Okay. Thanks for being here, everybody. Here's what we're going to be talking about today. It's going to be a Q&A on Delphi at this phone number seen right here. I'm going to actually scroll this. There's the scroller, and this is the number. You can call in on Delphi. Now, aside of it being Q&A on Delphi, I wanted to discuss a few more cases. Starting with HPD77. His real name was Jason Angeli. He was a cop from Houston. Now, the whole of this story begins like such. Hey, Mr. W, how you doing? A friend of mine, so to speak, from online, Ted Barris, spelt like so, if you want to look him up. I actually like the guy's channel, I have for years. The guy's very entertaining. Does a lot of reviews, mainly hot pepper reviews. But if you put that into YouTube, you'll see a bald guy, kind of a fatter bald head guy. It happened to him. Now, as it went, when I first started YouTube back in I think it was late 2012. I think it was December of 2012. I started off by looking up the hottest pepper in the world to eat the hottest pepper in the world. Thus began my food challenges. Now, when I did that, I was looking up the hottest pepper in the world on YouTube, and everything kept saying FBI review. Now, believing that it was the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigations, it kept going through my mind, why in the hell would the Federal Bureau of Investigations review the hot pepper? It makes no sense at all. So I finally had it narrowed down to, with a handful of hot peppers. And when I seen these hot peppers, then I also seen FBI reviews those. So I clicked on it, found out that FBI stood for Fire Breathing Idiot, which is Ted Barris. So I started watching his channel. At that time, I ate the hottest pepper in the world, which was the Trinidad Moruga Scorpion, which was hot as hell. I still have that video, man. I need to put it back up. But anyway, and Ted Barris, because at that time in 2012, had like 188,000 subscribers. At that time, that would be like in today's standards, like 2 million. He was making some big YouTube money on reviews, hot pepper reviews, beer time with Ted, rambling with Ted, the whole food challenge thing. So at that time, because I was trying to outdo everybody that was doing food challenges, I did what no other man had done before me. I got 2 feeder mice from the pet shop, 2 little feeder mice. They filled out papers, man, and I had it too. And you know what? I probably still do somewhere. Man, I had their little written thing, man, that said that they were giving up their life, okay, in order to be in a video that was going to be broadcast worldwide, and that they would definitely sacrifice their life to be in that video. And it had their little handprint and everything, make sure it was real. Didn't get it notarized, but they said, nah, no need. They would never buy into the fact that we were signing it anyway. Don't be a dickhead. So I made a video where I ate 2 feeder mice. Ted Barris shit himself, man. This guy went off. Sent everybody to my channel to see those videos, flag me, thumbs me down, get me kicked off of YouTube, and all that shit. I made a bunch of subscribers off of that crap, man. People showed up to like thumbs me down. There he is, right there, Ted Barris. But for a men. Okay. So we set it up, man, this week to where him and I were probably going to be on video, man, and he was going to answer some questions on HPD77. HPD77 hacked him, okay? All right, got his vital information, posted it online. I thought he was seeking subscribers. I did. Hey, Barrett, calm down, man. It's all good, but hey, you all right? He's okay. Yes, exactly. So we'll get his details on that, and then we'll go through the case itself, because then I was trying to figure out who this guy was, HPD77. Found out who he was, found out that he was a cop in Houston, and he had killed himself. So, yeah. Well, man, don't give him too much, Ted. You know, don't hand out all the information just right up front. So anyway, then I'll cover that case. That's going to be good because I got the inside information with the autopsy reports, everything that kind of clarified the fact that this man was that dude and he did go kill himself and he left a lot of questions behind. And you don't want to miss it for that reason. Yeah, HPD 77's last video was straight out there. People videotaped that. They downloaded it and it's still up on YouTube. If you want to go watch it, crap, man. You know what? I thought I had that, and I probably do at some place. I got the link where you can go watch it. But if you go to YouTube and you put in HPD77 final video deleted, it will pull it up, man. It's got that song in the back. He's wearing a mask and he's drinking some malt liquor. Bear, please calm down and don't cry. Don't cry, Bear. I don't like it when Wolf cries. Okay. Don't just sit there and cry. Nobody wants that, Bear. Come here. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, poor little dude. Oh, love my little boo. Loves the bear. I do, don't I? Yeah, I do. I do. Big yawn. Here you go. Big yawn for the old puppy. Here you go. Let's get back down. Okay. Just hang out. So then I'm going to go on and I'm going to make one on Jason Dale Bolton. Now, this goes back about 2 years ago. His sister had reached me, and here's kind of the lowdown on this story. My dad's last name is Bolton. A lot of people on my Facebook's last name is Bolton that's related to me. So when she friended me on Facebook, got it for a friend request, and I seen the last name Bolton, I'm thinking it's a cousin I'd never met. You see where I'm at? So I friended her, and then she brought the story to me about her brother. This was in 1991. He got ran over by a car. Now, let me pull this up to exactly where it is, because this is the mind-blowing part. 1 second. Let me see. And I'm going to pull this up right here where everybody can see it. Well, please get out of there. Bam. And get rid of the number. There we go. Now, this right here. Come on, man. Well, please. Yeah, it's going to take a second, man. Everybody's computer's down right now. They can't keep up with any kind of speed or anything. This right here is... Give it a minute. It's taking its time. In fact, man, I'm kind of happy just to be live right now. Okay, fine. It goes back to map again. Here's Connorsville. And this is Everton right here. This is where Denise Flume lived. This is where she left from, going this way, and either going up to here or taking the southern route. Let's see, where in the hell is that? There's Connorsville. Bunker Hill. One moment. To up here. And this is the four-way stop. Right here. Where I feel that she was abducted at. Whether she went the north route or came up through the south. She stopped here, was abducted, and her car was found here. Now, Jason Dale Bolton, when she brought this story to me, he was 16 years old. And he was found approximately, well, please don't cry, Bear. Johnson. Okay, I don't even think, man, where in the hell? Yeah, Allentown Road, right there. I think this is it. So he was about right here. Now, if I get directions, which that ain't going to happen. Okay, I don't need that. Man, what the hell ever. Well, I may have to end this early, people. To right here. Bear, please stop. All right. Oh, good grief. Wolf, please stop, man. Please. Okay, I can't see shit on this. Sorry, everyone. This is becoming. Here's Connorsville. So Glenwood there. To here. Nope. Tell you what, we're going to do it like so. We're just going to do it like so. Computer don't want to play along? Fine. You know what, computer? Fuck you. Fuck you, computer. God, man. Okay. Right here. See directions. Here we go. Let's going back down here. Let's see. back this way. Right here. See the distance there. It's approximately 9 miles from where Denise Flume had become abducted 5 years prior to. Just right there. Now, the story of Jason Dale Bolton is he was at a party. He was 16 years old. He was with another man that I will call friend number one. He was with him. They left the party at a late hour. They had been drinking beer and also had consumed Xanax. Now, they were walking down this road right here, and I'm going to go down and get kind of a view on this road here. Well, please stop, man. Please, just stop. Now, this here is kind of where the hill begins, back yonder here. And as he come over, then right there, they were laying in the road, sleeping, apparently. And he swerved to miss the one kid, his friend, but then ran over Jason at the same time. Well, his sister got a hold of me and said, that ain't true at all. Actually, all the injuries that was done to my brother was done at that party. And the members of that party did that to him, took him out into the country and staged like he was hit. It was all fake. Now, if you go online and you go to Google and you put in Jason Dale Bolton, and then, Indiana, hit by a vehicle, whatever kind of keyword you would like to use like that, anything that you find aside of the official story was all wrote by his sister. Now, I wanted to do a live show with her at that time until I seen that she was mad in the head and that she was really, I feel, because there was this letter that she got from an anonymous person that didn't want anybody to know, even her, who she was. Now, upon reading that letter, I thought, okay, and then she was kind of ignorant enough to fall for it. Her brother was killed accidentally. But, I'm going to go way into this story as to how it unfolded and how she came about these thoughts. But anyway, that's another case that I did want to cover, was that one of Jason Dale Bolton. Jeez, it probably is like, what, 2 people? 42. Thanks for staying here. You guys really rock. You do. I want you to know that. Okay. So that's what I'm going to be covering tonight. And if you got any questions on the Delphi case, give me a call now. Ready? Begin now. Start dialing. Start dialing, man. My dog needs me, all right? Seriously. Just start fucking dialing. Thank you. Hello?
Hey, Michael, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. Why don't you tend to Wolfie, and I'll try to stay talking if you
if you would just ask a question, please.
Okay. My question is, I was informed, I got an email from somebody, and they were talking about is it David Erskine?
Yes.
That supposedly found the girls?
Yep.
Do you remember early on that there was some text or posts or something that were rather descriptive?
Yep. I got them downloaded, in fact.
You've got them downloaded.
Yeah.
Do you think those are authentic?
It's hard to say. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I say, yes, they are, then everybody's going to believe it. But what if they aren't? There's no way that I could really say point blank, yeah, they're authentic. That's really the way it happened. I can't do that. Now what I can say is maybe it is, maybe it's authentic, perhaps. But at the same time, I can't say yes that it is. God only, you know what they can do today. Somebody gets a photo or anything, they can doctor it, and bam, this is what he said. Well, there it is. So I don't really know.
It didn't look authentic to me. It didn't look like general communications that I knew, like a text. They weren't formatted right.
Right.
I didn't see the dates and the times, and since he was supposedly a paramedic or worked for the fire department and was related to one of the girls, I can't imagine that anybody would put that out there for the public to see.
No, I don't either. And, you know, by doing that, it just makes me question, well, like, why? Why would he do that? You know, what was his reasoning for saying that, especially being related? It just didn't make any sense to me. And then you didn't hear any more. I don't know if law enforcement's like, dude, don't say shit, you know, or how that played. So I don't know. I don't.
Well, I'm going to chat a little bit if that's okay. Can we talk about Jason Bolton?
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah,
well,
go on.
You know, you and I have been talking about that case, and we sent the photos back and forth and the reports that you had.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that that's anywhere near the threshold of being purposeful, done by hand. It looks like that was a very forceful injury.
A tragic accident. A very tragic accident.
A very
to
tragic
say the
accident.
least. Yeah.
And I think that, you know, maybe his sister just can't accept that.
That may be. And I would understand that, you know, if that is what it is, because, you know, when you lose a close relative like that, you know, the mind kind of handles it however it wants to, you know, but I think that she was kind of using that anonymous letter as a, well, this is this is the way it happened. And I'm standing on that. However, like I told people, if you go online and you look at that, anything outside that steps outside of the newspaper report, anything like that was all wrote by her. By her. On CNN, it's on there. And it was wrote by her. Unsolved Mysteries and Murders, all wrote by her. So it's the only thing is like either A, you can look at the evidence, the autopsy pictures, the entire report, the investigatory report, the coroner report. It's all right there. I have every last piece of it. And that says he was hit. He was hit by a car. You can tell, and I'm not going to show the full of the autopsy pictures because that is very, very graphic, to say the least. I wouldn't do that even if I made it an 18-year restriction. I still wouldn't actually show them like that because that is a 16-year-old kid laying there fully in the nude, and he's been hit by a car. He looks very bad. But it was a very tragic accident, and one that I understand she probably can't deal with. Understood. But, you know, she's pointing at other people saying that they did this to him, when in fact, I don't believe it happened like that at all. And I think that this anonymous tipster is probably out of her mind. Well, please stop.
No, and one of the things that is really, do you mind if I refer to the pictures as long as I don't?
No, please go ahead.
Okay. One of the photos, well, more than one of the photos, show the accident scene and how the police department do their maps and, you know, point of contact.
Hang on a second. Hold on a second. Because he was on an autopsy table. That's why he was nude. He wasn't nude when he got hit by the car. Radar. Okay. All right, go ahead.
But the police department always take a lot of pictures. And one of the pictures does show him at the accident scene. And there was copious amounts of blood.
Yeah.
A lot of blood there at the accident scene. And if he was actually, as she claims, killed at a party and taken there, that blood would not have been there.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, definitely.
He did have a 0.113 or 119 alcohol in his blood.
Yeah.
And then the Xanax which you're not supposed to mix with alcohol.
Which means mix them with alcohol.
1, 2, 3.
Which means they go quite well with alcohol.
Yeah, they will put you to sleep.
Well, and that,
16-year-olds.
and that I believe is what happened.
Yeah.
Right there. I think him and his friend were drinking. They had some Xanax. They was walking down a country road, sat down for a minute, were tired, man. I think that one or maybe both fell asleep, and along comes a car, man, up over the hill, and there it was. And that's what I believe happened. I think that that's exactly what the police say happened. That's what the coroner says happened. If you look at the tire tracks that's on the kid, you can see where he was hit, where the tire had went. You can even see the tire tracks on him. It's pretty point blank, I think, to me, as to how it happened. But again, man, now Randy Grabb had a show where he was talking to her live. And I was on that show. I had called in and I was making my points that, look, man, these things are not consistent with what you're saying, and this is what I'm looking at. And it was just the way that she was answering, like, and that's when, and it's just so, God, man, lady, don't be out of your head like that, man. You're fucking distant relative to me. For the love of God, man, you're embarrassing me.
Well, Michael, maybe you can explain to folks that are listening about the anonymous letter, how she got it and kind of what it said.
She got it. I think it was wrote from Cincinnati, Ohio. And the person was saying, no, when they left at this time from the arcade, they was dead already, because they were already going to kill him. So they went to that party, and this is where it all happened at. Then they staged the rest. Now, that right there, because this person's telling her to get a hold of that friend, number one, the guy that was with him's dad, because he knows the truth. He's a Christian, and he goes to church right there at this church. Go there and say, like, oh, I just joined the church and you're a man of God. No, so then get up there and pray for justice for your brother, in the name of Jesus. Make sure he hears you, but don't judge him. Don't judge him. He'll know. And, he'll come around, he'll tell you what he knows. And, kept going on about it. Now, actually, oddly, I think she went and did that. I think that she was out of her head just enough to go do that shit. Because this lady is not right, man. I knew that then, and I wasn't going to have her on my show at that time because it would have been an embarrassment, because I just would have been straight making mock of her. Like, you cannot be that freaking out of your mind, lady. No way. There is no way. Now, go on.
Well, when I looked at the letter, it appeared to me, from the language and the punctuation. When I was a teenager, I used to dot my I's with circles or flowers. And it took a lot of time, but that letter reminded me of a very young, immature person authored it. It's not an older, mature, wiser, or educated person that wrote that letter. And I don't know if she had somebody do it for her or if it's an authentic anonymous letter, but it just didn't make sense. It's almost as if it wanted to start trouble.
Yeah.
That's what the intent of the letter was.
Well, that is what she did. She went online and then started her whole case of, well, they did this to him. They castrated him. They cut him. They ran him over. Then they took him out there and staged it to look like this other guy did it. And, well, this guy, upon hitting him, stopped at the nearest house. This is in 1991. Called for an ambulance and law enforcement to get there. They arrived. They took pictures. They took down everything that had happened. Now, again, how would this happen? And then they move his body out there to a country road that has blood all over it from where he was hit. One of his testicles was on the side of the road. It's got that picture. I'm sorry, Sergeant Blaylock. But you know, it just wouldn't have happened like that. It just wouldn't have. And if she was on my show, that would have been the whole of it. Just saying, like, okay, look, it really didn't happen like that. You're the only one stating this, and you're the only one stating this for a reason. What good are you going to get out of it? You know, who's going to be attacked by this, like legally, that you want attacked? I think that she is on the side of like everybody's out against her brother, and her brother did. And I would agree. I don't know the kid, but I mean, he looked like he was just a regular 16-year-old kid in 1991. You know.
Yeah, a nice looking young man, but
kind of looks like Chachi Arcola.
Pardon me?
He looks a lot like Chachi Arcola on Happy Days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, a nice looking kid, and just made a mistake. It happens, and when it turns to tragedy, it's too bad. But there are professionals there that could help her deal with her grief instead of dealing with it for this many years and making these accusations, because it just doesn't make sense to me that he was killed somewhere else and brought there.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I might agree with you to a degree on dealing with her grief, but I think it goes deeper than that. I think that her grief is like a lighter portion of the mental issues that she's dealing with. I don't think that she's like quite at that, I'm dealing with grief. I think that she's more about, I'm creating a show. I'm making a mystery that I really believe in. And if you do too, maybe we can solve this and find these evil bastards. Bullshit. Bullshit. And that's what I'm pointing at. Now, I want to make a video on that. And look, man, I mean, like with anything, you can believe as you want. I don't care what it is you believe. But if you confront something, man, have some evidence. Have some fucking evidence, something that you can say, look, man, this and this equals 2. Am I right or wrong? But when people just come on here to go, hey, take it away. Okay. Yeah. You're out here, pal. Have a nice day. You and your 13 other friends that come here to give me a thumbs down and be a dick.
Well, let's move up the road of, 9 miles, 8 miles, whatever it was, to Denise Froome. Miss Cognito has talked about Denise, and
she's made a few videos on
it. Disappeared into thin air.
She did. She left her house at 12:30 and was abducted and gone by 1:15 on Good Friday, oddly enough, which is coming up. This Friday will be Good Friday.
And she had a dress for the prom.
Yep.
She was an honor student, and
on her way to college.
Going to college, she had been accepted at what was it? Miami of Ohio.
I don't know. I don't know where she was going to college.
She was 6th or 7th in her class, athletic, and poof, she's gone, and has been for a long time.
Yep. And that was like 9 miles up the road. And it was 5 years earlier. 5 years. 9 miles right up the road. That's like from here, 9 miles right up the, you have 2 mysterious cases. And like I said, if you look up Jason Dale Bolton, now I sent Miss Cav the web link to that the other day. And I wish that I had it wrote down, man, because that way I could give it to you. But you could go watch Randy's video where he was talking to Jason's sister. And on that, I called in, and it was really crappy audio because at the beginning, there's like heavy feedback. And but anyway, I was kind of laying the thing out, but that was before I thought, I'm killing this. I don't want to have her on my show to make mock at her because, look, this was her brother. And I do understand that there is grief. But on the flip side of that, I don't want people to not know this story as to how it really is. Real is real. Okay. When you start buying into the story, that's like believing that, like Survivor's a real show, man. You know, no, it's real. It's real. No, it's scripted real. It's real reality real. You know, but it's not real. It's scripted real. And that's how she's scripting the story into a different direction, which is not real. I like people to know real. When I know real, I give you real.
Exactly. But now with Denise, what do you think happened with her?
Well, you know what? It depends. And I mean, it don't depend on what happened to her, but it depends on where the party was. Because I think it was in Glenwood. Now, the other one had it to the right of where she would have taken Tower Road up the highway. Was that 53? She would have had to make a right. But she took that country route and made it to the four-way stop. And that is 21 minutes drive time from her house. Now, a person very close to her told me that he had drove that route many times to the north and from the south side because they're both equal distance and they both arrive at the same point at that four-way stop at exactly 21 minutes. Exactly 21 minutes. So we know that the time that she would have got there would have been at 12:51. That's if she drove out at exactly 12:30 rather than leaving, but she would have got there just prior to 1 o'clock. Now, a local farmer that lived there from Greenwood, I believe, and he was traveling east down, and I forget the name of the road. I should have looked at it. But, you know, he was traveling east and he seen her car parked back there at that time, but he didn't see any other car or anybody around the car. So he said that that was between 1 and 1:15. So that tells me that she arrived there. It was her only stop from her house out to the highway, which would have been her second stop. That four-way stop was the only stop she had to make. That's where she ran into her abductor, who was parked there, probably asked for help. Could you give me a ride into town? We need, maybe water, cars overheated, whatever nature that he could have said. But in this particular case, it looks like two people were involved, because the car was wiped down of prints, the car that she was driving. The driver's side was wiped down of prints, pretty much stating that the last person that got out of the driver's side was the suspect. Okay. Now, if the suspect was driving her car at the end, right after he abducted her, I'd say that he probably put her into his vehicle, the suspect vehicle, with another person to keep an eye over her. And that person drove away from the four-way stop to follow them back up to that farmer's lane where he could wipe it down and get back to the vehicle, and then they get out of there. Because otherwise, he would have had to get out, abduct her, get in her car, drive it back there with her, wipe it down, and then drive it back out, or then walk him and her back out to the four-way stop and get in and drive out. That would be one person. If it was two, it could have been done in that much time and they wouldn't have been spotted. So yeah, she was abducted.
And they've never found any sign of her? None. Well, I read, and I watched an interview with her parents, and they are still trying to find her. And they, is it the Mary Bird?
Yeah,
Sanctuary?
Bird Sanctuary, yep.
It's right down the road, not too awful far. Fayette County is not that big.
Pretty small county.
Yeah, it's a pretty small county, and that's why these two deaths are so odd, within 5 years.
Yeah.
But my question is, they had apparently gotten a lot of tips that her remains may have been in a pond there at the bird sanctuary.
I think that was local rumor.
Yeah.
Local rumor always says it was so-and-so, and they threw her in the pond. That's where she's at, because that's how local people do. I mean, no different than Delphi. Everybody's got like a half-twisted fucking theory. Nobody ever looks at the evidence. Nobody ever looks at the circumstances. Nobody can add 2 + 2 = 4. They all get a theory and they go, that sounds right to me. And they run with it. And they tell people, well, I heard that this is it. Really? Well, see, I heard this. Well, that may be too, but it's all a shit show. It is all a shit show. They
drained the pond, and that had to be pretty expensive. It's a small sheriff's department. I don't know how bright the sheriff is, but I have a feeling he wants to solve it because he went to school with her, I think. Or he knew somebody in her family quite close. And they drained the pond, and you know how ponds in the Midwest are pretty murky at the bottom and mucky and wet and thick and sticky. And they went over that with ground penetrating radar, and they did find something, but it turned out that it was not human remains. They thought they had human remains when they first found it, but my guess it may have been a deer. So they've done all this work at that pond, and I think they refilled it a couple years ago. And there it sits. Now the rumor is that she's in another pond. So I don't know how many ponds Fayette County has, but it looks like they may be draining some more. And her parents have just offered a $25,000 reward.
Well, I called him.
Leading to.
I called him and I told him who I held as the highest person of interest, Larry Hall, and his brother, Gary Hall, of which I made a video discussing. I went to school with 2 identical twin brothers named Larry and Gary Hall, not the same 2. It is not the same 2. They actually all look quite a bit different, but both of them being identical. But it was very odd because I think we live something like 30 miles west of Wabash. They're in Fulton County.
Well, I don't know a lot about Larry and Gary Hall. Maybe you can tell me.
About the 2 Killer brothers?
Yeah, the 2 Killer brothers.
Well, they went to Civil War reenactments together and would dress Rebel and Union and reenact Civil War fights and this and that. Then they would go back and stalk those areas after the fact, looking for women, mainly Larry. Larry was the one that was the killer of the 2, but he also stated that he was tired of covering for his brother for the ones that he was also involved in. His brother, Gary, not in jail, still living in Wabash, Indiana. If you want to look up Gary Hall, send him a letter, find out what he knows. But Larry is in prison, federal prison in Marion, Ohio, or Illinois, for kidnapping a girl and transporting her body across state lines. Now, he murdered that girl, but apparently that wasn't in their thing about like, well, and murder her too. No, it's just kidnapping and going across state lines. So they gave him life without parole. Now, there are, I think, 58 other women where he is a person of interest in their abduction and murder. And, of course, in every one of them, he's like, I ain't talking. I don't know him. Well, you can't make me talk. Well, fuck you. Go to hell. I'm in prison, bitch. I ain't getting out. Go fuck yourself. I'm Larry Hall. So, and I called down there to Fayette County Sheriff's Department, and I told him that. I said, look, if you don't go talk to him or his brother, because it looks like a 2-man job to me, I said, then it will always be a cold case. Forever. It will always be cold. If you want it solved, go fucking talk to him. If not, because his brother ain't going to talk, man. If his brother talked, that'd be setting himself up for murder, man. So he ain't going to say shit. Larry Hall ain't. You ain't got no body and you want me to talk? I ain't saying shit. I didn't do it. Sorry. Don't know. And that's all he's got to say because he knows that he could get the death penalty. And he ain't saying shit.
He's kind of a little off, isn't he?
Yeah. He's got a low IQ.
And did he, I can't remember, did he ask for immunity on those murders? And then he'd start identifying it and admitting? Or am I confused?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that maybe he said, if you give me immunity, I can answer to more. I don't know. It's been a while back when I made the video now.
Well, my question is, why haven't the federal prosecutors gone down to talk to him? Because the feds prosecuted him.
I don't know. I mean, I can't answer to it. I don't know. If it was up to me, I'd be in there with the steel bar making some sense out of this shit. But since I can't, I'm not allowed. You know.
58 women dead.
58 men. You know what? One of them was in Rochester, which is kind of a hometown of mine. I mean, I was born in Kokomo, but I was raised at Niona Lake. Rochester is the county seat of Fulton County, where Niona Lake is. It sits about 8 miles south of Rochester. But there was a woman that was found in the country there that was brutally raped and beaten. And he was the person of interest because they had just had a Civil War reenactment, and that's where he would go. You know, he would go back to the areas of the Civil War reenactment and then find women.
That's right. There had been one the week before in Connersville. Is that right?
Exactly. And I think it was the weekend before that. Now, I was also told that again by another person who I believe was Incognito Society. And then a person very close to Denise Flume actually backed that up and said, yes, that was fact.
Well, I'll tell you, her parents are very nice people. Very, very nice people. And they have spent the last 33 years looking for answers. And all they want to do is bring their daughter home.
Yeah, I would want that too. I mean, that's a tragic case, man. I mean, and really much in the same way as Delphi. I mean, there is no way that she's going to come home. You know, she isn't coming back home. And I think that that was known a very long time ago, that she was abducted. And that person, you know, now if they found her body and could tie it to someone, maybe. And it's a long shot. There is no DNA. There is no fingerprints. There is nothing that can tie anybody. So unless that person ever came forth and said to law enforcement under oath, yes, I did it, that person will never be charged. Hang on a minute. Somebody's calling. Hello? Hello?
Hey, Mike, what's going on, brother?
Hey, can I give you a call or give me a call back here in a minute? I'm talking to Miss Cav.
Okay.
All right, give it a minute, okay?
All right, no problem.
Okay. Hello?
Would you like me to call back?
No, that was Double Ants. He's going to call back in a minute.
Okay. That they kept that 86, that Buick Regal, for an awful long time, and I think that they finally sold it. But it's too bad that that car didn't sit untouched, because I think it could have been examined again. And with today's technology, maybe something could have been pulled out of that car, because you never go anywhere unless you leave your DNA and you take some with you.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just too bad that that car hasn't been kept, because that's the only connection that they would have to that vehicle, or to her and to her abductor. And people don't think in those terms, you know, that we didn't even know about DNA back in the 70s and 80s. And that's how Gary Ridgway said he got caught. He said technology. He said, I would have been out there murdering time and time and time again. And he killed 49 women.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is get off here for a minute and let Double Ants call in.
Okay.
And I'll be listening.
Okay, man. I appreciate you calling.
Okay, not a problem. You take care.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. All right. On you, Devil Ants. Yeah, I think that the whole thing with the sanctuary down there where they drained the pond, I think that that dealt more with more local rumor. And I think a lot of it goes around like that. Yo,
Hey, young man, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Brother, I'm making. Mike, have you ever done any research or looked into the boys on the tracks, that case down in Arkansas?
Go on. Tell me more about it.
They, a few years ago, well, it's been quite a few years ago, there was a couple of teenagers that got killed and left on the tracks for a train to hit them. I reckon there was a tarp threw over them. And everything's been said that the sheriff and his deputies killed them. And then a professional wrestler come out about a year ago and said that that he was hired by Clinton and his people while he was the governor of Arkansas to come down and run security, and was paid such and such money, and it was supposed to have been drug drops.
Whoa.
And these kids just happened to be on the tracks when all this went down, and they killed them because they witnessed the drug drops.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I mean, in both things that's come out about it, it's been stated that they witnessed, that. But I think the wrestler is forced, you know what.
Yeah.
But they never have solved the crime.
Well, it's probably because it was two kids that went out on the railroad tracks and fucking may have killed themselves. Either that or it was somebody, one of their friends that beat the shit out of them, laid him out there, threw a tarp over him so a train could hit him and then cover up the murder itself. It's one of those things. When something like that happens, man, you always look at who was pissed off at him. And what I'm going to point out, it being two young kids, is probably they didn't see a drug drop, because if it was, they would have said, kids, what you seen is federal, okay? Don't say nothing, man. We know where you live. We'll prosecute you and your parents and your puppy if you got one. Kids are kids. I mean, they're not going to sit and pay a great deal of attention, like a drug drop. They don't know it's a drug drop. Clinton ain't out just killing a damn kid.
But I looked into the case a little myself, and supposedly there was a makeshift airstrip down there where they was doing these drops, and they did find where a plane was landing, right there in the field beside the tracks. They did see the kids, the two boys, with the sheriff or deputies that night, right down from there, and then later they're found dead. And they claimed that they OD'd on marijuana and passed out on the tracks, right?
OD'd on marijuana. You know what? You got to be careful of how many marijuanas you take. That shit can kill you.
Yeah. That's right.
Never mainline marijuana. Don't do it.
Yeah, I was like, how the hell do you OD on pot?
Yeah, I don't know how you do, man. It's kind of one of those unheard ofs.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, if anybody did it, it's probably the Beatles, but unless John did it, I don't know. Maybe John OD'd and they covered it up with a pistol or something.
Well, I didn't know if you'd ever heard of the case or not. Did you look into the case about that old boy? I sent you the information here a while back about the guy that was doing the UCC and the other stuff, and they the sheriff or the state trooper or whatever come out and shot him.
Oh, you're talking about damn it.
He was a blogger, a writer.
Williams?
I think that was his name. They beat him up and all that.
William Cooper.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, they shot him, his family, his kids, shot them all down.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the guy out in Arkansas. Or Missouri, no, Arkansas, Missouri. Not William Cooper.
No, I don't know.
God, I sent you the link here a while back. I thought you'd had a chance to look over it.
I may have. Give me a name. You know?
I cannot remember his. It's one of those weird names. It's hard to remember. Shoot, I wished I'd looked at it better before I called you. Anywho, he was, he was into a lot of that stuff, and he was writing about the corruption in that county. And he outright caught these cops doing some dirty dealings. And one of the cops come out there and told him that they wanted to impound his computer and his print press and all that good stuff. And he told them no, not without a warrant. And then the one cop says, well, I think I smell marijuana.
Yeah, that's the way they do. What's that smell? Smells like marijuana. Better search his car, probable cause. You know, they search anything, take everything. And again, if you got a capitalized name, you know what? You got it coming. You got it coming, man. You're bending over for their penis and they're giving it to you without lube, and you stand up and say it's right, it's respectful. We should get on our knees for the boys in blue for protecting and saving our free ass. Bullshit. Bullshit. Not me.
Sorry.
No, I was just claiming, not me. It ain't the way I look at it. I look, if you ain't trying to get out of their grasp, guess what? Then you should be just happy where you are. Be happy with the way America is. Be happy with it. Don't fucking complain. You want it this way. You enjoy being a slave. Shut the fucking F-bomb up. If not, fucking fix it. Fix it.
Yeah, there you go.
You got to fix that equation if it don't equal what you want. You can't sit there and hope somebody will run this going to. And nobody's ever going to run for an office to go fix shit. They know better. They know that the office that they're running for requires the fact that they play along, that they go with the program that's already established to make you a good slave. Watch your TV, listen to your shitty music, and go on about your life. Don't expect it to get better. It never will. Be happy with what you got.
Well, the reason I sent it to you, Mike, was the guy, he did all the appropriate work to get his stuff back and proved that there wasn't no drugs there, whatever. And the cop, the crooked cop, called him up and told him, said, look, if you instead of bringing it to his house, he said, I'll meet you at such and such place, and I'll drop it off with you. And they had phonied up some warrants on him while they were doing this, and the guy didn't know it. But he had a preacher that was supposed to go down with him and meet him because he thought that they were setting him up. And he wore a wire. And the way he had the wire rigged was, Mike, is it was going back to his house, and they were recording it at his home.
Yeah.
The preacher changed his mind and didn't go with it. Well, they had this entire incident on audio. This cop shoots him. I mean, guns him down. And the guy ends up surviving. But on the audio, you could plainly hear the cop phony it up and tell him, drop your gun, whatever. And the guys are saying on the audio, man, what the hell are you talking about? I ain't got no damn gun. I ain't pulling no gun on you, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And they still prosecuted this guy, man.
Yeah.
Threw him in jail.
And you know what? The cop was suspended with pay to make it a vacation because he was following his training. They got ways that they deal with slaves.
Yeah.
And if you like it, great. Fantastic. You're that kind of ignorant. If you don't, you know what? You might have a brain that can calculate fucking equations. You might say, hey, I think we got a problem here. Now, my biggest issue right now in this world is Democrats and Republicans. It always has been. It's always been the Democrats and Republicans. We get a Democrat. Yay! He's destroying America and we have it coming. Yay! He's handing shit out. Yay! We got to tax everybody so we can have free everything that everybody pays for. Everybody is stupid. Everybody is ignorant. And everybody falls for the same mislogic every single fucking time. Whereas I say, if you see there's a problem and you don't know the solution, shut the fuck up and don't go vote. You make others look bad for it.
Yeah.
Not me. I am neither a Democrat nor a Republican. And I see we're both played the same game to just purposely destroy every freedom, every liberty, everything that we ever had, every right. It's all gone, wasted. Second Amendment says that every citizen has the right to keep and bear arms. But you need to register. You need a certificate. You need this. You can't carry without it. What? I'll carry because I have a fucking right to. And fuck you if you don't like it. Your little public servant ass can eat my dick.
Yeah, that two-party duopoly shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't like what... There is no Democrat or Republican. They are all of the same bird. It is two wings of the exact same evil bird. No matter how you look at it, that's exactly what it fucking is. The difference between Obama and Bush, well, they served in different years, but there it is. I mean, they're both the same fucking evil bastard. All of them. Clinton. I mean, fuck, man. Name me all the way back to Woodrow Wilson. There you go.
It's like you was telling me about how when they killed Kennedy, before he died, he had signed the legislature to go off the Federal Reserve and back on a gold-based currency. And then 8 days after he's assassinated, LBJ reversed the paperwork and put us back on the gold Federal Reserve.
Yeah. Well, he didn't end the reserve. Kennedy didn't. He was talking about the same thing that Lincoln was talking about creating our own American currency, which is backed by gold. Now, that's how it was initially, because in the Constitution, it states that all of our debts must be paid by gold or silver or a currency backed by gold or silver. Well, guess what? The petrodollar is backed by nothing. And that's why it's illegal and unlawful American money. So when you look at it like that, in my lifetime, I've never made a dime. I don't have no revenue. I never have. There is no revenue. I mean, all we're doing is exchanging promissory notes. It's like monopoly money. That's all that it is. It's backed by nothing. Why do you think we're 22? Excuse me, now like 24, maybe 25 trillion in debt? That's why. That's exactly why. But if we got away from that and and you know what? If Trump did that, I would give him his fair props. I would say, man, you ended the Federal Reserve, put us back on the trusted money. Well done. That's something. That is something. But I have yet to see it.
Well, it's like, when you was talking, you're saying that every dollar that's printed, that the Federal Reserve gets a percentage or interest off of it, regardless of whether it's borrowed against or not. It's the perfect scam, the perfect crime. And we was talking about, we're not talking billions, trillions, or anything like that. We're talking about unlimited amounts of money. That and people can't fathom, that, and how long it's been going on. I mean, you was telling me about this stuff, and I looked into it, and man, it's just absolutely blown me away. And the 1933 or 32 Maritime Act, and then I also looked into some of the seals, the stuff, and I was looking at Trump the other day. He was talking when he was doing his little Corona thing.
Yeah.
On the presidential seal that's up there, they've removed. Now, it's the first time that I went back and was looking at pictures of presidents speaking. I went back 20 years, 30 years. And they've removed some of the seals and stuff off of that presidential seal and stuff that's at the podium when he speaks. And I was like, wow, what the hell is going on here? And I got thinking about some of the stuff you told me. There may be some secret things going on that, the public don't know about right now. Maybe some people at war. It's like you said the other day, this corona thing, they could be aiming it to, strip more rights and crash this economy like, everyone's, saying. But as far as the rights, I believe I'm 100% convinced that's what they're up to. That they're going to be after going, stripping, which the rights are already gone. A lot of people don't realize.
You know what? Let me tell you something. I needed to make a DBA, a doing business as paper today, that I got from the recorder's office in the county where I live. All right. Now I had to have that notarized. Well, I wanted to do it locally. That way I didn't have to get into Kokomo and go into a store, because that puts me around other people, of which I'm trying to stay away from for my safety as well as Wolf's. And so I called over to Burlington City Hall, a town of 350 people. And I says, do you guys have a notary? Well, yeah, I'm a notary, but we're not doing public business right now because of Corona. I says, all right, well, I need kind of a notary that's somewhat local to me. She's like, well, you know what? Let me look into this. And do you have a number where I can call you back? I said, well, if you got caller ID, it's the same number I called from. She read it off to me, this number. And I'm like, yep. She goes, all right, I'll give you a call back in a little bit. So she called back. She goes, well, the state didn't get a hold of me about what to do. She said, but can we do it outside? Like maybe at your car there on the hood. I'm like, yeah, no problem. I said, I'll be right over there. So I got it. And I went over there. She comes out, man, with gloves, standing 6 feet away, looks at it, had to sign it, handed it back to me. No charge. And it was like living in a zombie movie, man, because it was just so terrified that they could get Corona. Now, I went to the health department, the health clinic there in Burlington yesterday, have something checked out, not Corona, not in fear of Corona. But I went there and I told him, I said, look, I've been self-quarantined. I said, even when I get my mail, man, after I get it, I Purell my hands, I spray it down, I open it, I spray the inside and the outside, and then I re-Purell my hands. I said, I keep my puppy and me 100% clear of any and all viruses. Great. Took my temperature. Well, that's fine. I'm like, yeah. Exactly, it's fine, but I ain't got Corona. But again, they're in there wearing the 95 respirator mask and this and that. Lady's like, I'm smiling if you can't tell. I said, I can tell by your eyes, But it is, man. And everything is shutting down. Everything. Now, when people get this $1,200 check, which is what they say, but you know what? Let's believe it when we see it. When that happens and everybody's handed like $1,200, there will not be one thing in any store that is not sold out. You will show up at a store and go, F-bomb. What? Because it'll all be gone, man. Everything will be sold out, man. I go over to China General, the dollar store, where everything's made in China. Everything's sold out. Everything's gone. I said, man, aren't your trucks getting here? Oh, yeah, trucks are getting here. Everybody's just buying stuff up. So my God, man, you guys don't have a shampoo. You guys ain't got Worcestershire. Yeah, people buying everything. That makes me feel, because Trump had said that the next 2 weeks, it's going to be real bad. There's going to be a lot of death. There's going to be, and that tells me right there, because they're locking everything down. I heard last night from a friend of mine that they're going to start killing the internet. Everything is shutting down real quick. One thing, then the next day they got a time on it, and then you're laid off, and then it's closed. They shorten the hours. It's all becoming an end time scenario. And I believe that it is the beginning of the end. But I called that. Months ago. I said, before I got my fair due on the Delphi case, shit would fucking hit the fan. Damn well. It will hit that fan. It will swirl around and splatter on the wall and send that shit a-flying. But it's going to happen before I would ever get my due on solving the fucking Delphi case.
I was going to ask you there a minute ago about, getting back to Delphi. With this corona, I saw where it got into some of the jails there in Missouri. If it ends up getting TB and he croaks, do you think that they'll ever, we're talking about if he croaks, if they'll release any of the info that they've got, proving that he's the man?
You know what? Probably not. You know what? It would be too much like saying Michael Catt was right. They're not going to give me that. And I'm not saying just because of me, but what would they do? Would they come out and say, well, the DNA matched and we feel it's him? Probably not, because unless they had the guy there to stand trial and be proven as guilty, it would just be marked up as hearsay. It's like a doctor saying, well, it's far after the fact and we didn't arrive on time and he's been cremated, but from our understanding, he died of blah, blah, blah. Well, how do you know that? Well, we're just telling you what we know a little bit. But I don't think that they're going to come out with anything in their investigation unless it could be proven. But even if it could, when the guy's dead, what are they releasing? You see where I'm at?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know what? Right as of right now, I'm kind of looking at it as, well, we did all that we could on Delphi, but kind of knew up front that shit would hit the fan prior to. I need to go back and find that video where I called that, because I said, yeah, before it even comes around, they'll fucking end it. It'll be game over. I've called that for like 20 years. Now, people, yeah, it's still this fucker. You know what? You would think a man would get tired of being right. I never do. I never, ever do. The king of Uganda stands as correct every time around.
Hey, so Mike, and if it does get into that jail where he's at, he'll be cannon fodder. It'll take him out. Because, like I said, they get them in that jail, and hell, the medical system in them jails is horrible.
You know what? I have a friend. Some of you know who he is.
Yeah.
And his mom got corona. Okay. Hang on 1 second. And I want to show you guys what I got here. I got this today. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is quinine. 100 pills, my bad. 100 pills right there of quinine. And that is what you take. Excuse me, not an MD. Now I'm handing out medical advice like I went to fucking school for like 8 years so I could learn to get insurance and kickback money. Oh, I ain't one of those motherfuckers at all. I'm just the guy who's saying, if you get this shit, this is probably your go-to. That's the same shit as the hydroquinone that they're given to patients. And then people go like, well, yeah, Trump, but you're not a doctor, so how are you recommending it? Whereas if I was president, I would go, well, let me think about that. Fuck you. Fuck you. Because you need to go eat a dick, people. Not you. Not you guys, man. You guys are cool. I ain't talking about you. You know what I mean. I'm talking about like the reporters that play their little game in the same way. It's all the same shit. Nobody needs to be a fucking doctor. You know what? Doctors don't cure anything. Let me think back in my life. What doctor cured what? Yeah, it's very rare if you find a doctor that cures anything. A cured patient is a non-returning customer. You got to give them stuff for their symptoms so that they keep returning to you so that you can make all that money off their insurance and be rich the way you wanted to be when you first fucking became a doctor. That's what being a doctor is about. Nothing more. And if you're a doctor and you're looking at life different, eat a dick.
Well, I saw something this morning where they were talking about using a parasite drug that they use on animals, that they were having some success out of that. So
a parasite drug?
How the hell they even get to that point?
A parasite drug? What do you mean a parasite drug?
That they used to kill parasites out of animals. I was like, how the hell did they get to that point?
That's what this is, quinine.
Well, I know that, but it was another drug that quinine's for humans they're using this. It was a veterinarian drug. And somehow they tested it, used it on humans, or for this corona. And I reckon they had some success out of it. I don't know.
200 radar per tab.
They were talking about it online.
Twice a day. But you see, I mean, I don't have the virus, but this right here is what I got for if I do get it. I already got medication because this right here is over 2 weeks worth. In fact, I would go as far as to say, like a friend of mine, and I want to point this out because he said it firstly, not me, but it is definitely fact because he thinks right up here in the same way. He said, this is what we should have probably been taking for flu all along. And I said, you're right. You're exactly right. Quinine probably is the best thing to give somebody if they got the flu.
Are those the ones you dissolve in water, or just take,
just
like
take
a normal aspirin or something?
Oh, you just take them. I mean, they're tablets.
Okay.
It's got 100, 200 milligram tabs in it.
I've got a packet that's got, I think, 100. And it's the ones dissolve in the water. Dissolve in a glass of water.
These are right here the pills against mosquito death, as heard about in the song, The Rooster. That's what they give you in the Army, man. When you're out in the swamp where they got the malaria mosquitoes, they give you quinine pills.
Yeah, that's basically how I got these.
Yeah, the Z-Pack. I was going to bring that up. Is that what you're talking about? Is the Z-Pack?
No, I'm talking about quinine tablets. We got a hold of some.
No. I was talking about the one that you said was a veterinary drug.
I don't know. They never named it this morning. I was half listening to it was a internet news report, and they were talking about. I caught the tail end of it, and I was like, "Well, shit, I got to check into that." They were talking about, a veterinary drug that they had used on pets for parasites, and they had used it on corona, and it was working. And I was like, "Wow!" But the next very damn thing he said was, in the U.S., they'd have to go through all the damn approvals and testing.
Yeah, I think that is Z-Pack because Trump was saying like, well, Z-Pack, while it's not fully tested, it has shown considerable, use and so that may be what you're talking about is that Z-Pack. Now, I will give you guys something that, again, I'm not a doctor. I am not an MD. I am not a PhD. When I was a teenager, I did play Ojin a few times, man, here and there. I played the Ojin thing, but it was just more to get laid. And I was the appointed medical advisor to Uganda for years. I want to be clear that my medical expertise, while very light, is still a little bit. Now,
what?
Just let me ramble, dude. Just let me go with it. While I'm rambling, just let me go. I have been using something for the last 3 days. You will never believe what I've been taking 1 tablespoon of every day. Take a wild guess. Anybody. First person that can tell me up the correct answer, this show will be dedicated right on you. In your very name. Johnny to the spot. A cure-all. Think about it. Your time is running up. Are you there? Okay. Anybody?
Just listen, brother. I have an idea.
There it is. Oh, you fucking dickhead. Yeah, don't listen to him. He already knew. No, it's not oregano. No, it is kerosene.
What?
Yep, 1 tablespoon of kerosene every day.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, I went right there to the marathon station, man. Filled me up a gallon jug, man, of K1, man, undyed. It's clear, has virtually no taste. 1 teaspoon every morning, man. It's antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral, You know, it kills all the bad bacteria, keeps the good, cleans you out. Any parasites, it was in the Army survival manual that if you had worms, to take 1 tablespoon in the morning, 1 at night of K1 kerosene. Now, I do not advise this to people. I am not telling people to do this, but there were books written about kerosene. And I think it was called Lung Consumption and I think other kindred illnesses cured by kerosene. Old book. But there was another one that was called Kerosene, the Universal Cure-All. It's old school. And I heard, cannot claim, that the Rockefellers stood on the side of kerosene as being a cure for cancer until they found out that chemo would make them more money. Then they switched back over to that rather than kerosene. But I've been taking kerosene for 3 days. No ill effects when you swallow it. I mean, really no taste. In fact, I mean, there's a lady, if you look on YouTube, there's a lady, man, that eats her donuts with kerosene, dunks them right in kerosene. People that drink like a small glass of kerosene every day. Now, in so doing, because this guy that had a video on it, man, it was called The Dose Makes the Poison. Anything that you take that can help you, you can OD on. You know, it's no different than if you look at any prescribed medication. You can take X amount to get rid of the symptoms, or you can take this many and kill your fucking self. You know, it's the dose makes the poison, but the dose is the cure. So I'm kind of standing to that side because I do believe that kerosene does remedy your body. Yeah, a tablespoon. Pour it right in a tablespoon. Actually, now I'm just taking a small gulp.
Wow.
It does not burn. It is not like drinking gasoline. There's really almost no taste to it. It's like a real, I don't even want to say like an oil, but kind of like like a super light oil with almost no taste. And I just take a small gulp. There it is. It's probably a little bit larger than a tablespoon. But again, I don't recommend a lot of the things that I do for other people, man. Because, man, if I recommended the shit I do, man, it would kill most people, man. Most people would not be cool with it. No. You know what? You may think that. Yeah, I mean, you know, a person say, well, you know, I mean, man, you take a shot of kerosene, don't smoke, it ain't gonna blow up. I mean, hell, I mean, after you swallow it, man, after a minute or two, I mean, you don't have a taste or anything in your mouth. It is not much different than drinking like an oily, very slightly oily type water. Very little smell to it. It's almost odorless, but it is K1 kerosene. And again, if you go get kerosene and it's got anything in it, don't come back on me. I am telling you right now, do not fucking take kerosene. I am not advising kerosene. What I'm saying is, I'm the person that does this shit. And if it does work to my benefit, I'll let you know. I'll let you know what happens. I'm also bought a nebulizer and turpentine, 100% gum, 100% gum spirits. That's what you want. You don't want that mineral spirit shit because that'll kill you. But if you get and again, it says right there, a deadly poison, do not ingest. So people, for the love of God, don't go get turpentine and take it. I'm telling you, don't. I'm not advising that. However, I did get a nebulizer so that I could nebulize turpentine and kerosene because that right there, kerosene, if you nebulize it and inhale that vapor, when it hits a virus, that virus is dead. It'll kill that virus, Johnny on the spot. Game over. So if you have a lung virus and you are doing that, not advising, but what I'm saying is that virus inside your lungs, game over. You will be hacking up some phlegm. It will be killing that virus. So, again, while not advising it, I do use myself as a guinea pig. Often. I'm the person that likes to go out on that limb, see what the view is.
My grandmother was a nurse during the Korean War, and she said that they were taught when she went to nursing school. Now this is the old time nursing school.
Yeah,
and
old. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Is old. This stuff goes way back in the day, man. The books I'm talking about was wrote in the early 1900s, very early.
And said that there was a morphine and opium shortage in the United States at one time, and said they had what they call opium lettuce, which grows, in the east, back east.
I got it. It grows right here. It's wild lettuce.
And a lot of folks don't know about it. Said that they was able to pound it down and do what they needed to do, and it worked on the same level as what morphine did.
If you take the wild lettuce, and it's easy to find, and it grows everywhere here in the Midwest. Gets rather tall, thorny, looks like a thistle. Not a nettle, but a thistle. If you take that when it starts to flower, and that's when you want it. Now, what I did was I blended it into distilled water, and then I filtered that out and then evaporated the water down to its latex. And that's the part that you would take for pain relief. It's no different really than the way that they would do, like to get opium off the poppy, where they scratch it and then the latex comes out and dries. Then they take, they scrape that latex off until they got a ball. Well, they put that into hot water and filter out all of the plant material that's in it, get that down, and then cook it and evaporate it down to the paste. That creates the opium. It's done in a similar way, but a little bit different. But yeah, that also does have medical value as well for pain relief, just like you're saying.
Yeah, and it's so much stuff that they try to keep away from us so they can make them big bucks.
Well, exactly, because if they don't tell you what will cure you, then you're gladly going to buy and get what they're prescribing and get kickback money for. Why wouldn't you? Doctors aren't trained to lie, Mr. Cat. They're here to help us. No, they're here to make money off of you. And that's what they want. That's why they want your insurance. That's why they want this. That's why they want that. They don't give a shit about curing you. If you think they do, you probably believe cops are the good guys. They're not.
Wasn't there a doctor back in the 40s and 50s that was curing cancer? He was doing the vitamin C loading and using tomatoes, an ingredient out of tomatoes, and was curing cancer with it, and they shut him down.
You know what? There's a lady. Oh, man, I wish. I'm going to say her name is Dr. Jennifer Daniels. Now, she wrote a book, and she's got videos online. And I wish that I had the one. But what it was is it involved turpentine. And she ended up taking that much in the same way that I'm taking kerosene. Because people going back had talked about turpentine because it exactly like kerosene. They have about the same boiling temperature. They're both distillants. One is of a pine tree. The other one is petroleum. And both of them have the same effects. So she said she would put 2 drops of turpentine onto sugar cubes, and then she would take 3 of them sugar cubes twice a week. And again, this is not advised because it says right on the bottle that if you ingest turpentine, it will kill you. This is deadly. You will die. And she said, I had my will and everything was paid off. I owned a city block. I was running my doctor's office right there. So she did this, and she said, like, within almost immediately after taking these, she said her head became very clear. She was thinking like she did when she was 10. And she has consistently taken that twice a week ever since. And that it did nothing but good. It kills worms, any worms that you may have. It's an antiviral. It's an antibacterial. It has a lot of health benefits. But if you look on the bottle, and again, not advising, do not do what I say that I'm doing. I'm the tester. I'm the guinea pig. Leave it at that. Don't do this yourself. Not a fucking doctor. But the thing is she was using this and they stripped her of her license for it because she was advising this to people. And they said, oh, no. If you are not recommending our drugs, we will take your license. You're no longer a doctor. But having been a doctor, she's on there and she's talking about the health benefits of it. That, you can do that. You can nebulize it. You can take it like, 2 drops on a sugar cube, and help yourself. But at the same time, if you read the bottle, and you probably should, because otherwise the FDA and other federal people will come at me and go, dude, we didn't want people to know about turpentine and kerosene. You're going to die. Just like that guy that lives in Missouri that was talking bad about us. You're going to die, Mr. King Cat. But you know what? We will see how kerosene and turpentine plays out because I have a nebulizer coming, and I also have turpentine coming tonight. 100% gum spirits. Don't buy the mineral spirits. That will kill you. That will kill you dead. And do not be a guinea pig. That's what people with long hair and long goatees do. Not other people. Other people should leave well enough alone until people like me die. And then they can go, ha, ha, ha. That's why. You know why his heart stopped? Turpentine. Turpentine killed him. Made his heart stop, man.
Like no castor oil.
Oh, thank you. That was another part to it. Because she was talking about taking it orally with castor oil. And I think that she made it into a 1/4 turpentine to 3/4 castor oil.
Oh.
And she said when she drank that, she got nauseous, she got diarrhea, but it was her body expelling everything that was bad. Because she said after that was over, felt like $100, man. Yeah, long, gorgeous hair. Thank you. You know what? This is exactly what she was talking about with the turpentine. This lady, this one lady, and it could have been Dr. Jennifer Daniels, but this other lady, she was talking about it because she made a scalp oil with turpentine. And she was talking about what it did for her hair. Beautiful hair. She had really beautiful hair. And I think she plays bass, which is just funky. So, I don't know, man. I need that for my hair, man. My hair is getting a little lackadaisical these days, man. It ain't got that sheen and the shine it used to. Man, beef it up with like some turpentine oil or something.
They used to wash their hair with beer.
Oh, yeah, man. You know what? You remember Body on Tap?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was back in the 70s. Body on Tap. Shampoo made with real beer, because it had the proteins and everything in it. Gee, your hair smells terrific. And you know what? That shit smelled good, man. Smelled the bottle of shampoo, and I'm like, man, that's good. That smells like $100. Yes. Yeah, kerosene will. In fact, it is something that they use for lice, man. Like, soak your hair in kerosene, leave it stand for a while, and the lice and the eggs die. That's an old school lice treatment is with kerosene.
And you still get that Body on Top, or do they make it anymore?
No. You know what? All of that vintage shit, man. If you find a bottle of Body on Tap out there, man, it's going to be on eBay, and you're going to be paying about $100 for it if it's brand new. I mean, to where it was like this. Because if it's still got the shampoo in it, you're going to be paying huge. I knew that for a reason. Look, if King Cat had his way, I would dress identical to Lamont Sampson or Sanford. Except I'd have the high platform beetle boots, man. I'd have Rollo's like leather hat and shit. That's the way I'd get around, man. That's where I'd be king. That's where I'd be feeling my funk, man. And if you look up clothes like that, man, for like one of those long, wide collar shirts from the 70s, you're going to be paying $250 for a goddamn shirt, man. Yeah. And they don't make that shit anymore.
Had the platform shoes with the damn goldfish swimming around in them.
No, man, that's women's shit. No, I'm talking about like men, dude.
No, there was a movie I watched here a while back. The pimp had a pair of platform shoes.
Oh, man, I didn't want to dress like no pimp.
And there was goldfish swimming around in the damn things. I was like, what the hell?
Man, I don't want to dress like a pimp, dude. I just want to look 70s school, man.
Car Wash. That's a great movie, man.
Yeah, it had Richard Pryor in it.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, the good days, man.
Well, you know, a lot of movies, I watched Smokey and the Bandit the other night. And, and I'm like, a lot of these kids nowadays, they just don't know, man, the stuff that they have missed out on, man.
Hang on one quick second.
Huh?
Hang on 1 second. Alaska Blue. Actually, coal oil is an old school name for kerosene. It's called kerosene, paraffin oil, and coal oil. But you want to make sure that there's no additives or anything in it. And again, not advising, not recommending, don't want you to go take it. I don't. I'm not saying that over here and trying to point to go do it. What I'm saying is don't do it. Believe me, there's idiots out there, and I'll be one of them. I'll be one of them if I have to. I'm king. I am king of my own body, and I'll put in it what I damn well please. However, don't do the same. But coal oil is an old school name for kerosene. If you look up kerosene, you will see a bunch of different names. Paraffin oil, lamp oil, coal oil, kerosene. There's a couple others that they call it in Europe, depending on where you're at in Europe. But it's got a lot of names because it was going back a universal cure-all. I mean, for everything. Scrapes, bruises. The one guy said that when he was little, his grandmother, like if you got sick, man, his grandmother would stop by with the turpentine and sugar cubes, and you would take turpentine and sugar cubes, so nobody wanted to be sick. But I thought, well, turpentine ain't got much of a taste, and it would really just be like eating a sugar cube. But I think it was the whole thought of eating turpentine. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there that, yeah, coal oil is another word for kerosene. Go ahead.
Well, it's like a lot of people don't realize that aspirin is made from coal. You know, you try to tell them that, and they look at you like you're crazy.
From what?
They use an ingredient out of coal.
Coal?
I didn't know that, but I had a professor in college that more or less showed us how they done it.
Did you say coal? Did you say coal?
Yeah, coal, like wood, like throwing in your coal burner.
Oh, I heard that. I heard that aspirin was made out of willow bark.
Well, they use, there's an ingredient out of, because when I was a kid, they would tell you if you had a headache, that you could chew on it like a little piece of coal, and it would cure the headache.
Well, coal does have its advantages. I mean, like, as an example, if you took like pills, tried to OD, and they pump your stomach, they'll usually fill your stomach with coal, because that coal will absorb anything that's left over. That's why they carbon filter like alcohol. It's to get all the bad stuff out, but leave the, what's distilled. So they do filter with that.
But anyhow, Mike, I'm going to get off here. Somebody else wants to call me, and they're more than welcome.
Well, hey, did you have any further questions? I'm sorry I tend to ramble.
Nah, brother, that's all I wanted to know about the one deal that I'd sent you and the kids on the track. The boys on the track. I didn't know if you'd looked into that or not. You know
what? I probably will now that you gave me a reminder of it. I mean, I'll kind of look into it, but it's kind of one of those things. It's not like I could really point to anybody as a person of interest, because there's a lot of rumor, that's in that kind of thing. And it's like, if you look into any case that's local to a small town, you're always going to have that local rumor that's involved. It's hard to look at straight facts and actually make a decision. And even if I was looking at the straight facts, I'd probably side to, well, somebody could have killed him and put him there, or they could have killed themselves and did, there's like a lot of ways that you could look at it, but I like looking into a case where I can kind of come up with something, to where I can point at a person or a motive or something like that,
That's cool. Well, I'll be great talking, and I'll be in the chat, brother.
All right, man. Thanks for giving a call. Talk to you soon.
All right, bye-bye.
Peace. So, anyways, hold on a second here. That's my number. I'll be on here for 20 more minutes. And if anybody wants to call, there it is. It is question and answer on Delphi, but I was covering the HPD77 and Jason Dale Bolton. Of course, I can answer about any question on Evansdale in the same way and so forth. But if you have any question, give me a call. If you want to talk kerosene turpentine, I'm right here. Because I have spent the bigger part of this week looking into it. I really have. And I got to a point of, hey, maybe kerosene might be an answer. Maybe. Let's find out. Now, when I was looking for it, and what I did was I ordered paraffin oil from eBay, and I got 1 gallon of it. Now, upon getting that, man, I asked my friend, Ryan, the dick that lives down the road, that dude handing out my information. I got to block his ass. Now he's on here messing my show up. So, anyway, I asked him, and I'm like, man, did they sell kerosene there at Marathon at a pump? Yeah. So, well, man, let's stop there, man. So I cleaned out a gallon jug real good, stopped by, man, and I looked at it. I'm like, K1. That's exactly what I want, man. Undyed, I had nothing in it, no coloration, low sulfur. I looked up the flash point. It was exactly what I wanted, man. So I filled up a gallon jug, which I have in the other room. And there it was, man. Started taking it daily. It has not gave me the shits. I'm happy about that. I mean, I wasn't expecting to get them, but at the same time, I'm kind of looking for the benefits, to see what comes along. Because after so long, if you don't feel any effects, probably there are no effects. Or if there are effects, and you probably didn't have anything wrong with you to begin with. But if something good doesn't come out of it, then I would just halt, because why ingest medication if there isn't anything that's ailing you? You see where I'm at? Do I? I don't know that I look younger. It's probably because I'm wearing no glasses. That's just me. You know what? People, in my life, and I've noticed this, is kind of a cycle. Good things happen, followed by bad. Blue skies, thunderstorm. Sunny day. What's that? Over in the distance. Looks like it's coming right toward us. What, that looks like Hurricane Katrina. This is the way my life goes. So whenever there's good, it's always followed by bad. But I know that when bad gets at its worst, that good's just around the corner. So kind of, when you look around right now, because times are shitty, and I know that they're shitty. I see that they're shitty. I know it. So is everybody else. But around the corner, there's going to be good. And good is coming back. Now, I want people at my channel, and it's the way that I kind of wanted to start my old channel, was by informing people of the whys. This is what's going on. This is what you're supposed to believe. This is what's going on, and this is why, and this is what I'm telling you it's about, what it's really, really about. And I want people to be in the knowledge of what I know. Now, especially today, when you have a opinion that differs from the masses, you're called a conspiracy nut, an idiot, a tinfoil hat wearer. The difference is I can back what I say by fact, whereas flat earthers are just idiots. They're the people that believe the news. You know, they're the ones that are kind of targeted as contented slaves that don't know any different. That's why the elite look at us like we're animals, because we can't figure it out. We don't see a problem. We're never told there's a problem, so we're uneducated on it. We don't know that there's a problem. We think this is life. This is how life is. This is how we wanted, or it wouldn't be that way. Whereas I stand to the side of bullshit. If you don't like life, you need to change it. You need to look at the who, what, where, when, and why, and start making changes immediately. That is where I stand. Is what? What's KETO? Alaska. What is KETO? Keto? Anybody? Anyone? Am I live? Are people hearing me? Keto diet. Ketogenic. High fat, low carb? No. Oh God, no. 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 The biggest thing for your diet, depending on who you are, and remember this is key. Nothing works for everybody. Nothing works for everyone. There's people out there, man, on that, what's that all vegetable diet? What is it? What, somebody help me out, man. I know this shit. Whatever that all vegetable diet thing is, people are like, hang on, it might be somebody calling to tell me what KETO is. Hello?
Okay, I've got a question for you.
Oh, okay.
In the Evansdale murders, didn't they have a person of interest at one point?
Yes. They
Do you know
did.
anything about that?
Yeah, I think that he was involved with trying to get some girls into his vehicle that was roughly the same age as those girls. I think that he had had legal issues in the past regarding the same, and they was looking at him as the person that may have done it. But yeah, vegan. Thank you very much, Jimmy Juice. Hey, Jimmy Juice, man. Fuck yeah, man. I'm glad you made it, dude. So they was looking into him, but after they had questioning, they determined that he wasn't, and they told everybody that he was no longer considered a person of interest. They was also looking at the parents of the one girl because of their drug use, and but they had stated that, you know, while they had looked into them regarding that they were not considered persons of interest in the abduction. That case is pretty clean. Oh, and Alaska Blue. Sorry, didn't mean to miss you there.
No. Do you remember when a girl in Iowa named Molly Tibbetts?
Yep.
Was kidnapped and murdered?
You betcha. That wasn't all that long ago.
Her body sat or laid in a cornfield to, I think, about 30 days of summer heat.
Yeah.
In August, and it was real hot. But I happen to know that they had a forensic anthropologist come out of, it wasn't the FBI, but I think it was one of the divisions of the CIA, and they're part of who identified the DNA on Osama bin Laden. And this gal is really specialized that came out there. Well, I don't want to go into it because it's pretty graphic, but they did get DNA from her that matched Rivera. And I know that they can get DNA up to a certain point even though it's difficult and I don't know all the processes. But I'm wondering if back in 2012 they even took samples from those girls, if there was enough left to take samples, and held on to it. Because they, and this gal that came out of the CIA, she also works over in the Hawaiian, oh, help me out, Kat. It's where they identify all the POWs in Hawaii.
I don't know.
And military people that are skeletonized that they now find in Vietnam. They're all sent to Hawaii to an identification center. She does work for them.
Well, it's using DNA, right?
She looks for DNA in remains that are absolutely almost impossible to find. She finds it. She's kind of like the C.C. Moore of finding DNA.
Yeah.
In a decomposed body. And I'm wondering if you ever heard if they did anything like that. Now, she's expensive. Don't get me wrong. She makes a very good living from what she does, but she's usually pretty successful. And she's managed to get Korean remains from the Korean War identified through DNA. So I didn't hear if they just gave up because of the length of time that those girls were out in Seven Bridges, or if they did try to get DNA.
I don't know. And I say that because they never gave anything outside of, we found 2 bodies that are small in stature that we believe may be them because they're the only people missing. And it's their size. But once they, I believe, did the DNA, and I believe that that's what they had to do against the parents, they determined that, yeah, this was those 2. But there was no cause of death. And again, I mean, being that far gone, you know, a lot of things could be done that would have just been deteriorated away and wouldn't have gave cause, you know, that you could see. Now, they could look at their DNA easy enough, out of bone marrow. I mean, you know, they could get their DNA.
Right.
But DNA off of them, that would have been really hard. And I'm not saying impossible, but I don't know the process by which that they would have done that.
Well, it's pretty complicated. When Molly Tibbetts was found up in Iowa, they brought in a specialist, and they had to pay for it, and it was very expensive. But the coroner up there was determined that if there was any DNA to be found, he was going to find it. He knew the family, and they did. They brought this gal in from, she lives in Washington, D.C. and Hawaii. And I believe they found it, if I'm not mistaken. Now, my question is, if you happen to see anything, let me know that they did find DNA.
Well, and again, if they had, if it would have already been listed that they had DNA. I mean, generally in a crime, if they have suspect DNA, they will say, well, we have DNA that we believe may be of this suspect. But I had never heard that made mention to. No, I don't think you're talking about mitochondrial DNA. Mitochondrials from your mother. Did you know? See,
that's from the mother, isn't it?
Yes. All of my brothers on my mom's side, all of them are my half brothers because only I am the one person in the world that has my 2 parents as their parents. But all of us share the identical same mitochondrial DNA from our mother. Now, our DNA is different, but we do have the same identical mitochondrial DNA. No, I was just stating this fact. That's all. I just like to throw facts out. I throw them like a softball, underhand.
Well, Delphi wasn't upfront and honest. Law enforcement wasn't upfront when they said they had DNA. I think Kim Riley said it by accident.
Kim Riley?
When you were interviewing him?
Don't know. About DNA?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Am I remembering wrong?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Possible.
You know, Devilance was talking about those two kids down on the railroad tracks.
Yep.
Complicated case, my friend, and very political. Very political. Those kids were someplace they should not to have been.
There we are.
And what's the name of the pilot to work for Delta, and then he went to work?
Hang on a second.
Hold
on a second. Hello?
Michael.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, Jimmy G's brother.
Hey, could you hang on? I'm talking to Miss Cav. Could you give me a minute?
Yeah, you got a minute.
All right. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, the name of the pilot that went to work for El Chapo, and he was bringing cocaine, like tons of cocaine, into the States. He flew into Arkansas. He flew into the very place that those kids were killed.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding.
Well, it makes sense. Clinton was moving cocaine. I mean, I ain't saying Clinton wasn't, but I mean, look, man, when two kids die and you say they seen a drug drop, would the kids have known? No. Would the kids have shut up if you told them to? Yeah. Would you said, hey, man, would you like to be a secret spy? Don't tell anybody what you saw. I won't. You're a secret spy. Yay. You know,
well, I think the kids had been back there a couple, 3 times.
Yeah.
And they didn't get caught the first 2. They got caught the 3rd time. And that's one of the things that pilot, I think he died, but he was in jail, and he got caught with a shipment, and he turned on El Chapo, and he was taking a C-130 down there, dropping the butt end of the plane, and they were filling it up with drugs. And they had cameras on the plane, and they filmed everyone loading that plane. And that was the DEA, and he had no choice at that point but to cooperate with the DEA and get the evidence, and that's how they got him. And I don't remember if he was shot or if he died a natural death.
Well, they can do either.
Pardon me?
They can do either. You know what a natural cause of death is? Your heart stops.
Yep.
You know, well, why does his heart stop? Oh, it could have been a bullet. I don't know. You know, it could have been a lot of things, but his heart stopped, no doubt about it.
But it's been a few years since I've read about that one, and Double Ants was pretty well spot on that.
Well, yeah, and I will look into it, but I mean, I like looking at stuff like that, but I like cases where I can kind of wrap my hands into it, really take a good solid look where I can kind of look at it like law enforcement's looking at it and give my take to it, because I like doing that. It makes me feel Columbo. It makes me feel Sherlock Holmes. It makes me feel like a private consultant detective, you know. That's what makes me feel like.
Hey, you remind me more of a James Rockford than Columbo.
No, don't. I'm no Rockford, man. I am not that dude.
Well, I happen to have a lifelong crush on James Garner.
Well, that's just really cool. But you know what? I never did. I'm kind of like not to that side so much. I mean, not that I
Huh?
thought Columbo was hot or anything, but I'm just saying.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I'm going to let you go. And
Thanks for calling back.
The Delphi case comes up by the end of the year.
Should. But I'm hoping that we're all here to take it in.
Exactly. Everybody stay safe from Corona. And my great-grandma used to use kerosene, just so you know.
It might be a universal healer. I'll find out. And if I do, I'll let everybody know. So start on kerosene.
If it's not and you keel over,
don't fucking take kerosene, man. Hello?
How's that? No, my great-grandma lived to be 104.
Okay. 104 with kerosene?
Yep.
Says a lot.
Kerosene and mustard plaster.
Mustard plaster. Heard of that.
Yep. All right. You have a good night. Thank you.
Bye. Hello?
Please enter a number.
Hello? Well, they hung up. Hello? Yeah, they're gone. All right, Jimmy G, call back. Now's the time. I had like 2 calls that time. 2 people calling in. Anyway, I wanted to throw up this green screen from my home country, the one that I shall be king of, the true king of Uganda. In due time, you'll see how this pans out. Hello?
Oh, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, it's Jimmy Juice.
All right. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, go ahead, man. You're on live, man.
Hey, just waiting for the crime to be solved.
Yeah?
And that kerosene shit works.
Does it?
Yeah. Well, we grew up around coal. I'm from Pennsylvania.
Yeah?
Coal furnaces, kerosene furnaces.
Uh-huh.
And you got it cut, cleaned out. You should rub that shit down.
Yeah, you know what? This is what I hear. No, hang on, wait.
I don't know about this coronavirus, dude. Everybody's just waiting for a little bit of that mailbox money to come in.
Alaska, you got to state it correctly. It's the true king of Uganda. Believe me, I got a DBA name. You can't go outside of that, or the king will fucking sue your ass. But I can be called the true king of Uganda. That's the difference. All right, go ahead. So, yeah, kerosene, man. I mean, I've read that. One guy was talking about where he got cut, actually scraped up when he wrecked his bike. And the guy, man, had got a rag, and he said it probably had everything on that rag. So dipped it in kerosene and put it all, slathered it all over his wound and stuff. He said the guy had a cigarette, man, with like a long ash attached to it. He was kind of worried. Said it didn't catch fire, but he said there was no scarring and it healed rather quickly. I mean, I've heard a lot of good about kerosene, and thus I started taking it.
Well, I wouldn't drink it, but
I do. You know what?
And stuff like that.
I do not mind the taste.
With it.
I do not mind the taste. In fact, I could see where it could be acquired taste, man, like coffee or beer, man. It's like, I'm going like, ooh, man, a good swallow of kerosene.
Like I was a kid when you get gas, or you get gas pumped in, and the fumes would sneak into the car. It's like, oh, those smell pretty good.
Yeah, you know what? This really low odor on kerosene, and you would think, man, taking a small swallow of kerosene would burn. It would upset your stomach. Nothing like that. Like virtually no taste. I mean, I take a small gulp and I'm all like, it don't taste bad. It actually it's one of those things where after a while you tend to look forward to it. Can't explain it better than that. But I kind of like the taste a little, man. And it's pretty cheap, man. At $3 a gallon, it's about the cost of milk.
Yeah, what's it do for your stomach, though?
Do what?
I got a fucked up stomach.
Yeah.
My stomach flip flops. Just a little micro dose. How's it work out?
Well, I'll tell you what. A lady, I believe, had stomach ulcers real bad. And she remembered that her grandmother used kerosene, and she started taking kerosene in about the same level as I am, except she'd do 2 teaspoons a day, one in the morning, one at night. And within 2 weeks, her ulcers started clearing up and finally, and it eventually went away. That's what I heard. Don't quote me. Don't quote me that it really happened. All I'm saying is that's what I heard. I don't like repeating rumors, so I want to point out I heard that. I did not verify that because I think the lady's probably dead right now. Probably has been for a long time because this is going back some time ago. Another lady had, I forget what it was. I think it was colon cancer, and was given like a couple days to live. Started using kerosene and started feeling better and ended up beating the cancer. I mean, beating it without anything else. Again, I heard this, did not fact check and verify. I'm sure that lady isn't out there to be spoken to today because this is a very long time ago. But
you can go back because we're the same age. And I never had to take it. It's castor oil.
I've never taken castor oil. I never have. I've seen it like at pharmacies, and I remember my grandpa telling me that he had to take it when he was little. He said, "Man, that stuff tastes nasty," but I've never had to take it. Kerosene's in kerosene.
My sisters, because they older than me, they ate Vicks. Yeah. Vapor rub, they would eat it, and castor oil. I got away because, I was the next, there's 10 years between me and my older sister, so I didn't have to go through all that bull crap. But they still swear by it.
My aunt that recently died, when she was pregnant for my cousin, she had a hankering for Vicks Vapor Rub and asked her doctor about it. And he says, "Well, that's non-toxic." He said, "Get you a teaspoon and get you a taste of it if it crosses your mind." He goes, "It ain't gonna hurt you." And she kind of ate that here and there while she was pregnant for her.
Yep. And Mike, I ain't gonna hog up too much of your time, but with this.
Well, I'm going to get off of here as soon as we're done.
Yeah, but with this coronavirus and all that bullshit, it's like, let me tell you a quick story.
Go ahead.
Steve went to the hospital and he tested positive for the coronavirus. And he's perfectly healthy on his way home.
Mm-hmm.
He gets run over by a Mack truck. Guess how he died?
Corona. You know what? I thought about this. I really did. There's this guy and he was cheating on his wife. All right. Now his wife found out about it, shot him dead. The cops seen it, started chasing the lady who ran. The cops shot and killed her. Guess what? Her husband had corona and she caught it from him on the fly. It killed her too. The cops had to be tested after the fact because everybody dies of corona right now. It don't matter what you got. If you die, survey says you had corona. It killed you. Mark up another one. The media is going to scare us all to death before corona will even kill us, man.
Hey, how close are we closing this up with those little girls?
Which one? In Delphi?
Yes, sir.
I think we're looking at 7 to 10 months. It's got to wait till after his jury trial in October, probably a month after that. Then you're looking at the announcement. They may wait until February of 2021, the 4-year, before they announce all of them. I don't know how they're going to play it out, but I know it will be after October of this year. So I duly expect for shit it's already hit the fan. I suspect that we'll all be covered in it before they ever release that information, because I called it up front and sadly, I'm never wrong.
I'm glad you're never wrong because I'm never right.
Oh, that's wrong. You're lying.
I keep up on and I watch the videos, and Abby's mom. It's only been 3 years. Wow, that's putting me years on her. We need to come up with something real quick. Along with the grandparents, they're just aging too quick over this.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, look, I wanted to announce the same as everybody does. I wanted to announce the day that it happened because I was hoping, I mean, like right after the fact, when I was just following what law enforcement was saying, that's all we had. I mean, I was kind of giving my take on what I felt, but I mean, like, and I told people there is no solving it because if you come up with a person of interest identical to myself, it's because I heard it. I've seen it on the news. That's what gave me that person. I would have never traced it down to Thomas Bruce without that. There would be no way we could. Nobody can just point at it and go, you know what? I bet that guy lives in this city and goes by this name. Of course not. We're not psychic. You have to know who that person's name is to look into him to verify the facts.
Exactly. But I just like, because, I still creep up, and I use that word creep like that, but I still watch the videos and try to stay up on it. But it's like, and I'll still do videos and stuff. It's just like, wow.
Yeah.
It's just Asian people.
Yep.
It is. And stay safe.
I'm going to, and you do the same, man. It's good talking to you, Jimmy, and I hope to hear from you again, bro.
95, brother.
Peace. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here with me this evening. Thanks for viewing, everybody that did. Times are tough out there. I don't know how long the internet's going to stay. I mean, I heard last night that they might be getting ready to shut it down in areas, which I do kind of feel it helps with social distancing. Times are going to get bad, man. It could be the beginning of the end. I don't really see us pulling completely out of this. I think that this is the beginning of the global meltdown. I think that this is how it may have been planned from the beginning. So anybody that did stop by to watch this show, man, multiple thanks goes out to you. All my moderators, all of y'all, all you donators, man, thank you because times are tough. And again, we're going to be getting $1,200. And guess what? I don't think there's going to be a thing on the shelves to buy with it. That's just my thoughts. So anyway, man, thanks for being here. I will catch you probably by next Tuesday. And really, I want to get that video out on HPD77 this week. So after I talk to Ted Barris, man, I'm going to get that video thrown together. And that will give us more to talk about next Tuesday. Peace, everybody.